Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I'm Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So today we're going over the most anticipated VR games of 2024. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming for all VR platforms, and no, it's not just a bunch of new shooters. There's honestly tons of different genres coming, really cool looking games that I can't wait to go over, and even a few surprises you might not know of. Now, there are, of course, links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. Have you added about 15 accessories to your Quest 2 and it no longer fits in the official case? Well, don't worry because Kiwi has you covered. Kiwi's brand new carrying case guarantees to fit 9 accessories. There's pockets for extra cables, an ample amount of padding, and a hard exterior to help protect your device, plus a nice sleek black water resistant design. There's a link in the description to their website, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support my channel. Okay, 2 quick notes before we get this video rolling. The first is, if you have an anticipated game for 2024, let me know what it is down in the comments right now. I'd love to hear from you guys. Additionally, if you haven't noticed yet, my voice is still kind of out. I'm apparently suffering from the Black Death, or whatever it is, because this sickness just won't go away and I'm losing my mind. But digressing, let's move on to these games, starting with Bulletstorm VR. This action-packed first-person shooter that originally released back in 2011 is now being ported over for VR gamers. Now there's a couple key aspects here that have me so excited for this game. First off, we know just how good ports of older shooters can be in VR after experiencing Resident Evil 4. Additionally, shooters just play different during this time period, as excessively grinding mechanics, games as a live service, and tons of paid DLC didn't really exist yet. The only thing that developers had to offer up was an exciting single-player campaign. Additionally, Bulletstorm's main mechanic was dispatching your enemies with increasingly creative kills that rewarded you skill points. Not only will this shine more than ever in VR, but they've also added whole new content and mechanics specifically for VR. Now you'll not only be charging in guns blazing, but also with brand new energy blades. For those looking for more of a storyline and something uniquely different, we have Stranger Things VR. I'm absolutely ecstatic of the concept of playing as the villain. Sometimes you just want to feel like a badass, and what better way than taking on the role of Vecna as you grow your powers in the Upside Down. Telekinesis is a mechanic that works fantastically well in VR, and with Stranger Things being some of the best sci-fi horror in the last decade, let's hope this game is a true tie-in that adds to the overall storyline, rather than a cash grab that's trying to pull from the show's hype. Now, I did actually get to demo the mixed reality version of this game at a meta event back in September, and similar to most mixed reality titles, there wasn't much substance to it, but the overall authenticity and tie-in with the show was done extremely well. So fingers crossed we get some compelling gameplay in the single-player campaign. Now, continuing with show tie-ins, we are getting Attack on Titan Unbreakable. The title is self-described as a VR hunting action game, playable in both single-player and 2-person co-op. This darkly themed fantasy anime title has some amazing potential for VR. Not only does it feature fast-paced grappling hook style movement, but also combat against gigantic creatures. These are 2 elements that historically work extremely well in VR. Now, I do have to admit that I'm not familiar with the Attack on Titan source material, but I do know just how passionate this community is, and if the developers of this game manage to capture the anime's essence, we should have a really successful game on our hands. Speaking of success, I have some really high hopes for Gunman Contracts. What started off as a John Wick-style Half-Life Alyx mod is now becoming a full-fledged game. This is an action movie-inspired first-person shooter that's playable in both VR and flat-screen modes. You'll take on the role of a professional hitman who's taking down the criminal underworld one contract at a time. The original Half-Life Alyx mod was absolutely fantastic, so if you already have a copy of Half-Life Alyx, I recommend you go check out that mod so you get a tease of what this game will eventually offer. Now, so far, the majority of all of these VR games have been filled with nothing but violence, so if you want something different, our next title is a story-driven puzzle experience. Wanderer: Fragments of Fate is not only a re-release of the original game, but also a major update that's coming to all VR platforms. This game was already known for its stunning graphics, deep storytelling, and challenging puzzles. Well, all of that is getting even better, and new members of the VR community will now have access to this game. Wanderer is a time-traveling experience that has you moving throughout alternate versions of history. You'll get to land on the moon, become a rock star, visit ancient civilizations, and even become a codebreaker during World War II. This is a must-play experience for all story-driven puzzle fans out there. But let's get back to the action with Behemoth. From the same studio that gave us The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, prepare to enter a darkly themed fantasy world where you not only have to overcome deadly environments, but also deadly warriors and towering behemoth creatures. Now, the aspects that have me so excited for this game is the fact that it uses physics-based combat, a mechanic that Skydance has shown that they know how to do so well. Additionally, those behemoth creatures play with scale, another aspect that works truly well in VR. And finally, I absolutely love dark, gritty adventures. A lot of what we get in VR is kid-friendly or cartoony, and while I can still enjoy those games, I really prefer the ultra-brutal worlds. In the past, Skydance delivered with Saints and Sinners, and I'm hoping they'll do it again with Behemoth. Now, if you're looking for something different, we have the online asymmetrical horror-themed combat of Mannequin. Aliens have invaded the planet and they're freezing humans in time. As one of these creatures, you could disguise yourself as just another frozen person and set up an ambush for the special agents who have been created to hunt you down. The gameplay here is truly unique. It's almost like a combination of Prop Hunt meets Dead by Daylight. The 4 special agents up against that one alien creature have an array of different tech gadgets to help hunt them down, but the majority of the gameplay is like an extra creepy version of cat and mouse. Now, if you can't handle VR horror, you're definitely not going to like our next game, Into the Radius 2. This beloved and extra creepy survival title is getting a full sequel that now offers up 4-person co-op. So if you're going to be crapping your pants in a world full of anomalies and shadow creatures, you might as well do it with your friends. Now, there's already plenty of people ready to jump back into this dystopian nightmare, but the overall unforgiving nature of this game just wasn't for everyone. Adding co-op to this title should help get over that hurdle. So now, instead of one person scrounging for survival, you could work alongside your buddies, hopefully making things a lot easier. Now, for your more typical military-style co-op shooter, we're getting Zero Caliber 2. If you're looking for a lengthy campaign with plenty of unlockable weapons and equipment, Zero Caliber should be right up your alley. The campaign features Call of Duty style, over-the-top, military-style action, and for the competitive people out there, there's online PvP. All they need to do for this sequel is improve on the game's original formula, and we should have a highly successful title on our hands. Now, if you prefer Battle Royale style PvP, we have Contractors Showdown. Featuring both solo and team modes, you're going to be dropped on a massive island with the one goal of survival. It's about time that VR gets a new Battle Royale game. As good as Population 1 may be, it's getting a little stale at this point, and I can't think of a better shooter than Contractors to jump into the arena of Battle Royale. Now, I hope it'll feature some of the same mod support that the original game had. Speaking of mods, I'm really curious to see what we get throughout 2024 with Praydog's Universal Mod Injector. I recently made a video on this. It's an absolutely magical application. I can't believe what they were able to pull off. It works incredibly well, but there are still some hurdles to jump through. So I'm hoping they could streamline that a little bit more over time. Additionally, I just want to see some like ideal experiences. Some games do work great. I'm just not 100% sold on it because I like things that, one, are made for VR, so know how to highlight, VR. And no flat screen game is ever going to do that because it wasn't made with VR in mind. Additionally, I tend to focus on things that grow the industry more. And as cool as this is, and it's going to give the PCVR community tons of more content to play around with, and some people are going to love this and that's all they ever need. But it's not going to grow the VR industry. You might think I'm wrong, and if I am, fine, I'll happily be wrong on this, but I don't think that's the case. Regardless, I am curious to see how this improves over time, and I want to see the profiles that streamline the games get better and better. I also want to see what's the best experience. I'm curious to end 2024 and say, hey, these are the top 10 Universal Mod Injector experiences that you should try. That's definitely going to be a video towards the end of the year. We'll find the best. We'll work on it. As much as I said it's not for me, I will continue to follow it and try out experiences. But we also have to talk about some surprises that Meta may have in store for us. Now, you might need reminding that Meta has acquired 9 game studios, if my math is correct, and we've only seen them put one to use so far, which was Sanzaru with Asgard's Wrath 2, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I know someone's going to give me crap because I talk about it in every video. I don't care. It's great. Let's break down the studios they own and what we could expect from them. First up is Beat Games, which is Beat Saber, and that's their cash cow, so that should be business as usual. Sanzaru we already spoke about. Ready at Dawn is the studio that gave us Echo VR and also Lone Echo. We know that they stopped working on Echo VR so they could work on a brand new IP. I don't think we'll see that in 2024, but I'm really excited for anything they give us because I absolutely love the Lone Echo series. Now there's also Downpour Interactive, which gave us Onward, and it's been nearly 3 years since that game released. Plus, Mark Zuckerberg did once say that he's looking forward to Onward 2, but we don't know if that was a slip or a game that's actually in production. Now, Big Box VR is known for Population 1, and since that title is getting a little bit older and they're scaling back on updates since their free-to-play launch, I wouldn't be surprised if the studio is working on something new. Now Within is the studio that gives us Supernatural. I'm expecting business as usual there. That is a subscription service title, so they need to keep working on it, but I have higher hopes of seeing something new from Twisted Pixel Games, the studio that gave us Wilson's Heart, Defector, and Path of the Warrior. All three of those games were excellent, and it's been pretty long since they've released anything. I feel like similar to Sanzaro, this is a studio if you give them a lot of time and money, they'll deliver greatness, so I can't wait to see what they're working on. Next up, we have Armature, which ported Resident Evil 4 to the MetaQuest 2, and I know Meta has been actively seeking a big title game, so let's hope they're secretly working on another really big port. And finally, the studio I'm most excited for is Camouflage, which gave us Iron Man VR. Supposedly, they're working on a Batman VR, but even if that's true, I doubt we'll see it in 2024. This was a very brief overview of what Meta could be working on, but honestly, I think we'll only see maybe 1 or 2 more titles from their studios in 2024. Let's just hope they're as good as what they did with Asgard's Wrath 2. Haha, said it again. Great game. And finally, I just want to mention mixed reality. We saw it release in 2023. It's in kind of the gimmicky state. There are some really cool experiences, but they're all small and shallow because not many people have access to a Quest 3 yet. That will definitely grow and change in 2024. So those experiences should get bigger and better. So again, I'm looking forward to see what comes out of mixed reality. Another type of application that I wasn't completely sold on, but like I said, there are a few experiences like the cabin, home invasion, which definitely sold me. So there is potential there, and I want to see what they bring in 2024. Okay, guys, that was today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And as always, I'll see you guys on next time.